welcome back, and we're going to be talking about the top 5 reasons new shooters struggle. You ready? Stand by. So with the YouTube channel, I get to read a lot of comments, and a lot of them are repeats, and you start to notice patterns. So I thought I would share with you what I see the top 5 things new shooters are struggling with. Number 5 is not testing yourself. There is no shortage of people who will tell you you don't need to train with a handgun beyond 7 to 10 yards because that's the distance that self-defense shootings are going to take place. And similarly, if you look at the competitive set and like, well, it's all just fast, close, hosey stuff anyway, I don't need to shoot at 25 yards. While those may be true, when you're trying to build skill for something you expect to see on a test, it's generally better to be over-prepared and then it feels easy on test day as opposed to being under-prepared and realizing your skills weren't great to begin with. So the most practical example of that is backing up the target. If you think you only need to be shooting at 7 yards because of self-defense, then maybe shoot at 15 yards and get used to shooting at 15 yards. When you move the target up to 7 yards, it feels like cheating. It's ridiculously easy and it builds confidence because you know that you can shoot at any given distance. And a good rule of thumb for skill is if you could throw a football at a target and hit it in the chest, then you need to be able to do the same with your pistol. Whether or not it's realistic doesn't matter, but you need to have that level of confidence that you can step up to the line and deliver should you have to. And the other side of that is refusing to test yourself. So the handgun space is filled with a lot of people who like to think of themselves as alphas, and as a result, they shy away from the opportunity to test themselves. The problem is that you can't get better unless you know where you're at with your skill development. The problem with doing that is you're probably not as good as you think you are or would like to think you are. So regular testing is nothing but a good thing as far as developing your skill and getting better at handguns. Number 4 is turning on speed before developing fundamentals. So if you can't hit a target at 10 yards, mag dumping as quick as you can at 10 yards isn't going to improve your chances. You have to develop the fundamentals of building a grip, getting a sight picture, and breaking a shot. You need to develop a proficiency with that before you can begin to figure out how to apply that at speed. Similarly, with any of the gun handling techniques, you use draw as an example. If your mechanics are really bad and you have a bunch of wasted motion or inefficiencies in your technique, you're not going to be able to get down to a 1-second draw. You're just going to end up being potentially unsafe and looking really spastic. So definitely step back and take the time to watch your technique in a mirror or potentially even set up your phone to record you to see exactly what it is you're doing and figure out the most efficient way to do something before you try to make it faster, because more speed is just going to magnify the fact you've got bad technique. And number 3 is going to be grip. You're either using too much pressure or not enough. On your support hand, you're going to be basically maxing out your grip and you're going to be locking the tendons in your wrist. This is very, very important. And out of your strong hand, you're going to use a very strong, firm grip that doesn't go so far as to introduce sympathetic motion when you move your trigger finger. You need to be able to isolate this and move it quickly. So whatever percentage of force that ends up being, I have no clue, but I do have a video on grip that I would recommend you watch where several of the best shooters in the world kind of string together their techniques and I kind of stitch it together. Number 2 is chasing improvements through gear. It's really easy to feel like you're making progress when you open up the wallet and take out the Amex and buy this new shiny thing, but you're not getting any better. It's just a piece of hardware. And unfortunately, the hardware rarely makes the software run better, and it is the software that runs the hardware, not the hardware that runs the software. You need to be spending a lot of your time and resources improving your software and not worrying about hardware. If you bought your first gun and it absolutely was a terrible fit for your hands or of such quality that it was total trash, then you get a pass. By all means, go out and buy a new gun. But the reality is that most modern handguns are incredibly good and will do just about anything you ask of them. And number 1 is confusing collecting information with actual practice. So the irony of me telling you this in a YouTube video is not lost on me, but going out and watching a bunch of YouTube videos, reading books, taking training classes is not the same thing as practice. If G.I. Joes taught us nothing, it's that knowing is only half the battle.
And knowing is half the battle.
G.I. Joe!
The other half of improvement is effort. You're gonna have to take all that knowledge and apply effort to it because shooting is a physical activity. You're going to have to train your body how to take the information you've got and transmit it onto the gun to accomplish the skills you wish to accomplish. While you can brag about your training resume and all of this, information you have, and that looks really cool on like the Facebook groups and things like that, that's not the same thing as waking up early, pulling the cars out of the garage and dry firing for a half hour every day. That's not the same thing as taking all that money you save by following tip number 2 and buying range time and ammo, and then applying tip number 5 and actually testing yourself and going shooting with the intent to actually improve your skills as a shooter, not just to go turn money into noise and poke holes in paper. Get outside your comfort zone and do something for the sake of actually improving. Again, these are all just my opinions. I would be curious to know what your experiences are. What do you think the new shooters are struggling with the most? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like my content, if you like this video, if you found value in it, please do hit the like button. It helps me out in the search. Maybe leave a comment and consider subscribing and hitting the bell to be notified when new videos release. And check out the links in the description. There's some cool stuff there as well. I appreciate you guys for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care, guys.